Hi, my name's Stuart. I'm 46. I'm from Edinburgh in Scotland. I was diagnosed with an inflammatory arthritis. It's called a seronegative spondyloarthropathy. So it's an autoimmune disease associated with psoriasis, and I had bad patches of psoriasis on my legs, really puffy joints, sore pain in my neck, difficulty in moving my spine. And I've taken drugs for 25 years, or the doctors have prescribed me drugs for 25 years to deal with the arthritis, to keep the inflammation under control. And they worked to a certain degree, but I wanted to make the decision to get off them. So that's when I started investigating this lifestyle.
Okay, well, let's go a little bit back. Like, how many years ago was it since you became ill?
I was ill since the age of 18, and I'm now 46, so almost, 28 years.
And how did it feel? Like, were there things you couldn't do, or?
Yeah, I couldn't, at my worst, I couldn't put my own socks on.
Wow.
So I couldn't bend to put my socks on. It would take me 2 hours in the morning to get up and get my muscles warm and get out of bed, to get going in the morning. I used to have to lie in hot baths to loosen all my muscles up. I couldn't bite into an apple. I had no power in my jaw.
Right.
So they were sort of some of the practical things.
Could you work?
I was still working, but I was having to use coping strategies.
Right.
And getting up early, as I say, to have hot baths just to loosen me up so that I could get to work, and then taking a lot of painkillers to get me through work. And now, I think what people maybe don't understand with arthritis is that although it affects the body, when you're a 25-year-old guy not able to move, it has a real psychological impact too.
Right.
Real emotional, when you can't do things for yourself. So I found that quite challenging.
Right, I can imagine for sure. So, were there things you couldn't do as such, other than like in the morning and the socks, and like other things you didn't do? Maybe clubbing or?
I stopped doing football and I stopped doing sports.
Okay.
Yeah. But then I started to try and get into some gentler things to try and keep my body moving, like yoga.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Right. And how many different types of medication did they put you on, or?
I started on the basic anti-inflammatories and worked all my way up the scale. I did about 6 or 7 different drugs, and they were getting progressively stronger, progressively more probably dangerous if you look at the side effects of on the prescriptions. So I was doing anti-inflammatories, naproxen, sulfasalazine, diclofenac, and just eating them like sweets to try and keep the pain and inflammation under control. And then they moved me on to an anti-TNF therapy. So it's
what's that?
A drug called Humira, and it blocks the production of TNF in the body and stops the inflammatory cascade. And that's really effective, but it's got terrible side effects.
Right.
It upsets your digestion. There's a whole long list of side effects, and it's quite scary when you read them all, and the last one is death.
Oh.
It's a potential side effect.
Wow.
So I made a decision a few years ago to get off all anti-inflammatories and all arthritis drugs. So
what happened? Like, what did you change, and how did you come across it?
So because of my background and my being diagnosed at quite a young age, I decided that I wanted to not live with this for the rest of my life. So maybe about the age of 30, I started getting into health and started doing yoga, but for a long time I was still taking the drugs. And then the yoga led me to meet people that were interested in raw food, people that were interested in veganism, and really since the internet, since YouTube kicked off, I started to do my own research after meeting these people in my yoga classes. And so then I started to research different diets, and I tried different things. I went vegetarian, and eventually kind of found the 80-10-10 book.
Raw vegan?
Yeah.
And then how did it affect your health?
After going raw vegan?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I am 100%, but I kind of fall off the horse now and again, and go back to like cooked sweet potato and occasionally bread and sometimes rice. But I noticed a vast improvement. Switch it pretty much overnight. The inflammation would go down, my joints would become more mobile, and there'd be less pain. And then I noticed that if I had a slip up and fell off the horse and had rice, then the inflammation would come back.
Wow.
And my sinuses would get blocked, and that's when I knew that there was some kind of inflammatory process still happening when I was on the cooked grains. So I've got, it's quite stark, changing from the old way of eating, which also included alcohol and meat, if you go back far enough, to the way I eat now.
And was it the diet that initially got you the good results? Because you mentioned you were doing something else as well.
Yeah, the diet was, I started on the raw path and the fruitarian path, and then I thought, oh yeah, I want to accelerate this process, so I investigated water fasting, and I did a 26-day water fast.
In a supervised place?
In a supervised setting in Costa Rica with Lauren Lockman.
Right.
And that shifted a lot of the arthritis. All of a sudden, after the 26 days water fasting and the refeeding process, I was able to get into yoga poses that I've never been able to get into.
Wow.
My joints there was no inflammation whatsoever, no pain whatsoever. And I also had by that stage I had stopped taking all my arthritis medicines. So
That's
I've been
amazing, yeah.
So it's a combination of the raw vegan, fruitarian based lifestyle and the water fasting, and hopefully, I wouldn't use the word cure, but I'm massively improved. And if anybody stumbles across this video who has arthritis, they should seriously consider giving up the cooked, giving up the grains, giving up the wheat, doing a supervised fast, sticking to fruit-based diet. It certainly helped me get off alcohol, get off all stimulants.
And you said you were trying to be 100% now?
Yeah,
raw.
100% now, 100% this week at the UK Fruit Fest.
And why is that? Why are you trying to be so fully raw?
Oh, because I know that it significantly helps my body. So I've not, I didn't come at this from an ethical perspective, although obviously there's the ethics and the environment and all those great benefits. But when you're 18 or 19 or 20 and your body doesn't work and you're so frustrated that you can't put your own socks on. So I very much came at this from a health perspective. Right. And I know just through trial and error and experience that when I'm on a fully raw, 100% fruit-based, raw vegan lifestyle, that my joints are great and I can move my body. And if I have slip-ups, it's a reminder that there's the inflammatory cascade can start again.
Do you have a final good advice for somebody with arthritis?
Good advice. Start eliminating all cooked products, particularly grains and wheat, alcohol, meat. Get off it all. Switch to a raw vegan lifestyle. If you can maybe do some fasting, and you'll see massive improvements. Not only will your pain go down, the inflammation will go down, undoubtedly your consumption of Western drugs will go down. If that's a motivation for you, that was a good motivation for me, was to get off Western medications and all their side effects. Give it a try.
Awesome.
Give it a try.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
If you would like to know more about how I got well naturally, you can go to my website and get more information. Here you can get a Get Started guide where I tell you all about the diet and lifestyle that I used, and you can also download my top 5 tips totally free. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.